Yeah, she chewed up that bearing pretty quick. Alright, the teardown begins. So I just pulled all these out the back. These are like the little smoke guard things that bolt in to allow the body still to move. And look at that. It's a reasonably thick amount of, hang on, I've got a little chisel here. Look at this. Lovely. Yeah, so I'll just lift this body up, see how we go about lifting her off. Alright, so teardown's begun. Got the radiator hanging off the front there. Got to pull the exhaust manifolds off. I'm just going to pull the manifold and carby off just so I can get all this wiring out. Easy. Carby's just sitting over there. So yeah, I'll just finish undoing this manifold and rip that off. All right. Next step, exhaust manifolds. All right, that's progress. So the radiator's completely off. Manifolds off, exhaust manifolds are off. All the wires and lines have been disconnected. The only thing I need to do is get underneath and undo this shifter bracket. And then undo the bottom mounts for the trans and then the tail shaft. Undo that one, pull that out, block the tail shaft up, and then I should be able to hook it up and start ripping it out. Then start the investigating. What I might do before I rip it out is just drain all that oil out and then check out the filter. So that'll be interesting. Ooh, look at that. Not good. Big chunks too. Oopsie. Alright, get that filter off. Alright, let's get this in the light. Okay. Watch this. Oh, look at that beautiful glitter at the bottom. Shit. I'll cut the filter apart as well. I'll have a bit of a looky. Not good. Well, yeah, now sure that obviously something's stuffed up. I just don't know whether maybe I need more capacity in the sump and it just, that many revs sucked it dry and it wasn't draining back quick enough, so that's what caused it. So we might have to go with a bigger sump and pull it down, see how many of the bearings are stuffed and how bad. Shit, put a bag around the back of the transmission. It didn't work. Okay. Alright, so the engine and gearbox is out and I'm just turning this over to undo the torque converter. And holy shit, it should not be that hard. Gonna be very interesting when I pull this apart. Somewhere there is where my oil leak's coming from. Oh well, it's all coming apart anyway. Alright, so just took off all the coils and stuff. Pop this off, see if there's anything crazy happening under there. All looks good, so they're all those trunnion upgraded rockers, so they should be pretty sweet. Check the other side. Sweet. Alright, flip it over. Get that dump off. Wow, big chunks. Look at all that glitter. Rod bearing, so that one. Oh, that one's very loose. Okay. Just see what the crank looks like too. Doesn't look like it's got too crazy hot, which is good. All pickup's still good. Look at all the shit in the pickup there. Alright, so I've just been pulling this down a little bit. Got the crank pulley off, haven't pulled this off yet. Have a look at that. Oh, sort of looks okay, but I'll have to pull that oil pump off. And just basically see if anything's stuffed up with the oil pump. So see how that looks. If that's all good, then it's just an oil starvation problem and I haven't had enough oil or something in there, so I'll rip that pump off now. Alright, so oil pump's not stuffed. So you can see, sort of seeing there where I've ported it a little bit. And on that outlet there. Anyway, strip it off. Alright, so just pulled one head off. It's actually looking pretty good. Nothing too crazy going on there. The gasket looked fine. Head there. All looks good, just a bit of shit coming off that valve there. But all that looks fine, so got the other head off, pull the lifters and stuff out, and then I can pull the cam out. Check out that. Right, so far I've pulled two out. Looks fine there, you can't feel anything. The rods looked really good. The bearings are starting to show a little bit of wear. Oh, a fair bit of wear. But certainly not too bad. Might not be getting a new block after all, we'll see. So, try the next one. So this is one of the ones that's giving me the issue. Those bearings are stuck on there, and have a look at the bearing hanging out. So I'll end it. Yeah. Okay. Right, cam's out. Cam bearings. I like that look, a little bit worn, but none have disappeared or anything. I'm just pulling the first one of these off now. Ooh, it's not great. Well, it's torn down. This crank's not too bad. There's a few little marks there. That one's got some marks there too, and oh, look at that fella. It's not good. Here's the other bearing. So it's actually spun around on top of the other one. And yeah, like the main crank channels are okay. It's just where the rods are. So it's probably repairable, but I think for now I'll get another short block and fix this over time. Alright, so the motor's pulled down. I've just been cleaning up all the bits. So these are all the rockers, lifters and all that sort of stuff. Clean them all with degreaser and then brake cleaner. And I'm just cleaning out the sump now. She's still got plenty of sparkles, but I'm just about to tip this out. I'll have a look how much bloody metal comes out of this thing. How much is left in there. That. If I was a gold miner, I'd be jumping around. Look at that. Hold on, I'll spin the camera around. Okay, look at that. Some big flakes. So yeah, she chewed up that bearing pretty quick. Still not exactly sure what caused it. I think it's just not quite enough oil. I had maybe a little bit over 5.5 litres in there. And evidently it wasn't enough, so well, here's the crank. I'm just finding out whether this is sort of repairable as a spare or whether I flog it off. So that one looks fine. The crank journals look pretty good, but yeah, the rod journals, so that looks alright. That one, they look a lot worse than they are. You can't really feel them. That one, that big line there, you can feel that. So yeah, I'll just wait and tear back, see what we're going to do. Also, when I was pulling the motor down, something I found that I had no idea about when I put the heads on before, and it looks like it's been there for quite a while. Just look at that, number 6 cylinder. There's a big huge gouge or score down the bore. Yeah, so there, so That would have been causing quite a bit of blow-by. But whether or not I can bore that out enough to fix that up, or whether I just leave it and just sort of dingle ball hone it, get the crank polished and all ground or whatever it needs to do, some new bearings, and throw it back together as a spare. It's kind of, this block's kind of a little bit more valuable than like the 5.3 in the fact that it's come out of a Commodore and it's got numbers and stuff on it, so it can be more easily used to put back into a Commodore or another car. So I don't know, if it's worth repairing then I'll probably do it, but there's that. Didn't take long. I don't know how many seconds it was out of oil for, but yeah, I'll get all that cleaned out and just run more oil next time, I guess. Alright, so good news. I ended up getting hold of another block. It's currently getting shipped here from Brisbane, a couple of days away. So a guy, funnily enough, it's not that easy to get these sorts of blocks in Australia because we got to ship them all across and they get snapped up really quick. So there was an L33, which is an all-alloy 5.3 litre block that I was trying to get a hold of with like Gen 4 rods, and it would have been easier because it was still a Gen 3 motor, so I could just wire it all straight back up the same. However, that one had already had a deposit put on it, and anyway, he couldn't get hold of the guy, but he didn't want to sell it to me in case he got back to him. I've ended up with an LY5, which is an iron block 5.3, just a short block. It's a Gen 4 motor, so it's got the stronger rods. It'll be able to, if I decide to put boost into it down the track, it'll tackle the boost I probably want to throw at it. So I'll have to put my heads on it. I might swap the cam in, just because the cam that I pulled out has got a slightly bigger lift and duration than the one that will be in it. I can't go using this. That's from double row timing gear. I can't go using that because it hasn't got the sensor on the front for the cam. They run a different cam sensor. So I'll just have to run the single row that's with it, but as far as I can tell, they're reasonably strong, those Ls2 or Gen 4 timing gear. That should be alright. Yeah, so everything else should just bolt straight up. I'm going to have to change the wiring for the cam, extend the wiring, and I think maybe flip the wires for the sensor. I'll check on that. And then change like the pickup style from a 24 tooth to a 58 or something, I think it is, and the trigger. And I'm just hoping that I can do all that without sort of losing that whole map and tune that I got on the dyno. So I'll have a little bit of play around with that, and hopefully I can just swap the trigger style, get that all set up again. Yes, I'm hoping I can still use that same map that I got and not have to start from scratch again. So I just like to throw it all back together and just run it as is. The one thing is it will lose a tiny bit of compression because I'm using the 241 heads off the 5.7 litre, and this other one will only be a 5.3 litre, so it's, I think it goes from about 10 to 1 to maybe 9.5 to 1. And I did think, do I deck the heads to raise it? But more than likely I'll end up putting some sort of forced induction on this down the track. So I think for now I'll just live with it. It might lose a little bit of power temporarily, but yeah, for the greater good sort of thing. So let's just see what we've got going on here. I'm just going to clean all this up again. Nothing really needs touching. It's all working great. One thing I might look at doing, I'll see whether I've got the money and the time to do it, is put an oil cooler on. It'll give me that slightly more capacity and obviously cool it. I'm going to throw a little bit more in this time. I'm going to throw 6 litres in. I might try a slightly thinner oil. I don't know whether that oil I was using was just a little bit too thick and that's caused any issues, or a bit too heavy. It was a HVR 30, which is like a 2060. I think it might have just been a little bit heavy. I know the engine was quite worn, so I thought that would help a little bit, but I'll go with like a 1540 or something. So hopefully this motor is okay. I'll give it a little check over when I get it. And I've got, when is it today? It's Thursday today. So a week and 2 days before the WOGO test and tune. So I've already paid for my entry and stuff, so hopefully I can get that back together and get it going. So the rest of the day I'm just going to pull these studs out, just finish cleaning up the heads. So I've sort of half cleaned up one head, got the other one to do. Yeah, just do as much as I can so it's ready to just throw back together. So anyway, thanks for watching. Next episode, hopefully it'll be fired back up and skidding at WOGO. So cheers guys, see ya.